Hi, this is Brad Kirby, and welcome to part 3 in our series on using Kanji Flash Pro. When I was studying Japanese in college and afterwards, one of the things that was most frustrating for me was the fact that I would learn new vocabulary words and new sayings in school and outside of school, and I wouldn't have a good place to write them down and keep them so I could study them later. And that's exactly what this vocabulary feature in Kanji Flash Pro is intended to do. It's supposed to allow you to write down all the new vocabulary words that you learn so you can study them in a more systematic way at the time of your choosing. So let's go ahead and take look at the lists feature within the vocabulary function. And what you can see is you have multiple lists here. You can get a listing of all of the vocabulary words, and this is just a scrolling list that you can take a look at. Or many times what's more convenient is to break down all of the vocabulary words into more manageable lists. So here you can see a list that I've started for grade 1 vocabulary words. You can see a set of words that are associated with agriculture, dining, professions, whatever it may be. And I simply click on the list, and the vocabulary words that are associated with that list will appear. If I want to drill down on a particular character, I just select that role within or that row within the vocabulary list, and the character will appear. And much like the test function that we covered in the previous video, you have the ability to confirm your understanding of the reading. So in this case, the reading for this vocabulary word is nojo. So we will enter the correct hiragana characters. And as we mentioned before, if you need to make some edits, backspace, or you need to start from the beginning, simply click on this eraser button and go ahead and check and see whether you have entered the reading for that particular word correctly. And in this case we have, and we will keep track, or the application will keep track of the number of words you've attempted to provide readings for, how many readings you have entered correctly, and what your score percentage is. And again, much like the test function within the application, moving to the next vocabulary word in the list is simply a function of clicking the next button or swiping from lower right to upper left. If you want to return to the main list, just click the return button and it will bring you back to the main list. And again, if you want to come back to the master list of all vocabulary, just click that back button. It's also quite easy to delete and edit all of the lists within the application. I can delete individual words, or I can delete groups of words, either by swiping from right to left. In this case, I'd rather not delete this particular list. Or I can click the trash icon in the upper left-hand corner, and then I can pick any of these words or groupings to delete. And thankfully, it's going to ask you to confirm whether you want to delete beforehand. We even have an extra check in here that says, hey, you're going to delete the entire group. Is that really what you want to do? If I change my mind, I press cancel and everything goes back to normal. So what if I want to add new vocabulary to the list? How do I go about doing that? Well, it's quite easy. Just click the plus button at the top of the screen, and the default wizard here enables you to enter a new word, and we'll talk about this import list here in just a second. But first, let's go ahead and enter the new word. And one thing to bear in mind is you will have to enable your iPhone to accept kanji characters in order to enter new words in kanji. So we'll probably do a separate video on how to enable that. Take a look for that on the website. But for the purposes of this particular video, we're going to assume that you have that in place. And let's just go ahead and put in a test word here. We're going to put in kanji because that's what we're studying, and we click the correct reading and click done. And the reading for kanji is, guess what? It's kanji. And the English translation here is pretty easy. Here's how I toggle between Japanese and English. I click on this globe icon and type in Kanji, done. And then this list function at the bottom of the screen is what enables us to create the group listing that we saw earlier. So we're going to create a new listing called test and click done. And then if we save that off, you can see that we have a new grouping here named test. And if I click on the test grouping, you can see the new word that we just entered, the kanji word. And like we showed before, I can see the new vocabulary word and I can test whether I remembered the reading correctly. And if I have new words in the section, I can go to them. In this case, we only have one, so it will just repeat the one vocabulary word multiple times. Now, what if I decided that I made a mistake here and I need to edit the particular vocabulary word? Well, what I can do is I can click on this information icon and it will bring me back to the wizard with all of the rows filled in. And if I want to, for example, change the list name, maybe I want to designate this as test list 2. Go ahead, do that. I click done. I click save. And you can see that the grouping has been updated here. And if we click on the particular character, excuse me, we'll go back. You can see that test 2 has indeed stuck. So hopefully that's fairly straightforward about how you add new vocabulary words. There's also another function within Kanji Flash Pro that enables you to enter lists of words that have been pre-created. These are words that are on a website that I've created for this particular application. And to download one of these pre-created lists, simply click Import List, and your iPhone will make an FTP connection to this website, and you can choose any of the lists that you're interested in downloading. We're going to try to populate this pretty rapidly with a large number of practical lists. You can search for lists that are of interest to you. And in this case, I'm going to click verbs, and I'm going to go ahead and click school. So I can select more than one list. I can select all of them if I want to. And I click save. And what you can see is we have added school and verbs to the top of the list here. And if I click on school, you can see we have a number of vocabulary words: sensei, kocho sensei, gakusei, jugyo, kokuban, which are all relevant to students who study at Japanese schools. And you can see that these words have also been added to the all vocabulary list. So that is pretty much it. Again, the vocabulary function is meant to help you write down and remember all of those vocabulary words that you're learning inside and outside of school so you can study them in a systematic fashion and become fluent in Japanese faster. Thanks very much. Hopefully this was a useful lesson, and please come back and listen to lesson 4, where we'll talk about the index feature in Kanji Flash Pro. Thank you very much.